Forgiveness is like making the groundwork for loving kindness. And when that's done really solidly and well, the loving kindness is just really easy after that. When the mind and the heart are free and they're unimpeded, when these barriers, these protective layers have been shed, metta is just something that just flows out of you. It's natural. It's really easy, actually. One of the beauties of loving kindness practice, when we actually really practice it wholeheartedly, is that our feeling of love is so tied to our feeling of happiness and well-being. Everybody wants to be happy, everybody wants to be loved. But at the same time, it is the deepest and first emotion that gets hurt when we come upon a difficult breakup, relationship, whatever it is in life, parents, whatever, children. And so really often the loving kindness will bring up things. And so sometimes it's manageable, you can just 6R it, and then it's actually just normal and you can keep going. But sometimes bigger blocks will come, and that's okay, that's normal. We actually want this to happen if it's there. And when it happens, usually the loving kindness will become inaccessible at that point, because it's just a layer of protective armoring that we've created to protect ourselves that is coming up, and there is tension, there is resistance, because it's hurtful. And so that layer, when it comes up, then the feeling of loving kindness will drop. It won't really be accessible. There is likely going to be sadness. Whatever that feeling, that situation brought up in the past, then this is going to have to be looked at and acknowledged and welcomed and loved again, and forgiven. So what we do is, if we know what it is, some people know what it is, some people don't know what it is. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to figure out. Sometimes people just know right away, I know what it is. And so if you're in the first category, you know what it is. You know, for example, it's a person. Because you know who it is, they probably already come up in your mind. And so when they come up in your mind, you tell them, I forgive you. I forgive you for not understanding. That is a very powerful sentence to use, because all living beings want to be happy and loved and deserve to be. But sometimes, because of our history, our baggages, our parents' baggages, whatever it is, we also hurt others because we don't understand. Because that is avijja. This is the cause of all dukkha, of all suffering. Avijja is ignorance, not knowing. Not knowing what is hurtful, not knowing what is not hurtful, or happiness. And so that person also wants to be happy. That person also wants to be loved. And when they hurt us, actually the people that hurt us are the first ones that need love, that need compassion, because they just really haven't understood. And so with that understanding, you can say, I forgive you for not understanding. I forgive you for causing me that pain, for causing me that sorrow. And it's not going to go right away. But when the feeling arises, it's like a big chunk. And it's kind of either stuck in your throat or stuck here. And it's going to be pain mingled with some kind of loving kindness and compassion. That's why we call it more compassion at that point. It's because it's got a tinge of hurt. But there is also that feeling that just wants to be happy. Like you don't want that feeling. You just want to be happy, and then this thing is hurting you. And so you have compassion for that. You have compassion for that person. You forgive them. I forgive you for not understanding. I forgive you for causing me that pain. I forgive you for behaving or doing whatever they did. If you find a sentence that really strikes home for you and really brings it up, then use that. And you stay with that feeling for as long as it needs to be there. So the thing is that these things, we push them down because they're hurtful, and we don't really want to look at it. We just want to push it away and not see them again. That's what I called the basement yesterday, I think. And so the basement, at some point it gets full, and we can pile a lot of things over it. But at some point we have to go back down to the basement and open the door and say, okay, you go, come. Like Suzuki Roshi would say, you invite them in for tea. So the feeling is going to come. It's going to be a kind of a painful but compassionate feeling at the same time. And you stay with it, and you keep saying, I forgive you for not understanding. And probably tears will want to come out. And that is also part of the purification process. So we don't want to hold back the tears. Actually, just really allow them to come out. It's just part of the release process. Find a beautiful place somewhere around where you can be alone. Spend some time with yourself. Just let it out. And after a good session like that, people feel much lighter. It's not easy. Of course it's not easy, but it's so relieving. And you don't need to carry that with you. What you have is somebody else's stuff that they put on you, or they did something to you, but that's in the past now. Now is now. Now is the present. It's not like that anymore. And you have the complete right to move on, and you have the freedom to do that, but you need to just drop it. There was a song I used to like, and it said, don't you carry stones in your bowl of light. And so this is the same. You don't actually need stones or rocks in your heart. And so the feeling will come up, and then it will go down probably for some time. And this is a more active kind of meditation. So you won't go as deep in stillness and mental stillness and all that. And you don't want to, really. You just want to actually repeat more often that sentence, I forgive you for not understanding. And anybody that comes up at that point, because once one is coming out, they gang up. They all like, yeah, me too. I just like, hey, I'm here. Look at me. You forgot about me. And then one comes out and is like, oh yeah, that one. I forgot. And usually they will come out all in a chunk. We recommend to do that for at least one day, one full day, if not two, because it's much deeper, it goes much deeper. It's a better cleanse, rather than just do it a little bit and then try to go back to loving kindness, but it's not all finished, or that going in between sometimes is not gonna allow you. It's almost like the mind is distracting itself with the loving kindness when there's more forgiveness to be done. So for 1 or 2 days, usually we recommend to do that. And then if it needs more, then it needs more. And then after that, we can talk a little bit. Sometimes, depending on the people, we can do like, okay, so go back to loving kindness, and then if something arises, then you know how to forgive it. So sometimes that can happen too. Walking meditation will be very important also in forgiveness meditation, because it's more active and it's easier to practice forgiveness actually while walking more. Every step you go, I forgive you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Please forgive me. And you feel it in your heart. And so the other aspect of this meditation is when you repeat it like that, the mind will really get reconditioned to forgive, to forgive, to forgive. You repeat it so many times that it goes into your mind quite well, and then somebody might come up, and then you spend some time with them. A situation might come up, you spend some time with the situation. It might be you, and then you can spend some time with yourself, maybe your own mind. Sometimes I say to people that really can't experience loving kindness and they just really don't know what it is that they have to forgive, then I say, well, try to forgive yourself for not being able to love. And usually that works, strikes something. And so you can just say, I forgive you, myself. I forgive you for not being able to love, for not being able to love yourself and others. And so usually that works quite well. And if nothing comes up, then no problem, just keep going. I forgive you. Please forgive me. And it's also kind of asking for all the stuff to come, because you're basically directing your attention to that aspect of your life. Like, is there something to forgive? And it's like asking it to come out. Usually when people do it, there will come a time where there will be a feeling arising that is like, okay, I'm okay now. The forgiveness is pretty much dry, like it's dried out. There's nothing else really to forgive, and then usually they'll feel ready for loving kindness again. Usually that's how we can tell the transition can happen again. So you just basically forgive, 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 until there's nothing else to forgive, or the mind cannot find anything else. For quite some time. Usually you come on interviews again, and then I will say, okay, let's move on. Let's do some loving kindness. Forgiveness is like making the groundwork for loving kindness. And when that's done really solidly and well, the loving kindness is just really easy after that. When the mind and the heart are free and they're unimpeded, without many hindrances, the mind is really wholesome. Loving kindness is actually just almost innate. You don't even need to do anything about it. You can just tap into it easily. It's just these things that are impeding us. Everybody's got the same superpower. Everybody has the same potential. I like the Dalai Lama when he says that. Everybody, same potential. I am Dalai Lama, but everybody, same potential. I'm nobody. I'm not Dalai Lama or anything. I'm just a guy. And when these barriers, these protective layers have been shed, metta is just something that just flows out of you. It's natural. It's really easy, actually. You just have to relax, and it's just like, oh, there it is. And the rest of the meditation is actually quite good after that. And so my encouragement to the people that think that they're kind of like stuck in the forgiveness or whatever it is, the people that make the most amazing turnaround and huge progress is usually the people that have been doing a lot of forgiveness in the retreat. And then at some point, okay, they're done forgiveness, and then boom, they just fly through the meditation all the way up. Because they're just like, yeah, it feels so good. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on forgiveness.